What's good? I'm sorry I'm late, man. I'm sorry. Sorry. But I just sold my car and it took a little bit longer than I was anticipating. Apologies. But what's good? We here, baby. We here. Another Monday. I think the thumbnail should be I have the power. He-Man. What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? We gonna dive into Proverbs 6 Bible study. We're gonna do that, and then we're gonna continue building the Lego set. We made it this far last stream. So we're gonna build that, and we're gonna talk about a lesson I gleaned from watching the movie Masters of the Universe. This past week with my son, I took him to see his first movie in the movie theaters. It was sick. So we're going to do that. Got a pen, like I was selling cars. I've been making things happen today. I've been making shit happen. You know what I mean? Look, it's going to be a little bit different this week. I'm going to break some shit down for you, okay? I was encouraged by my girl Reef on this past live stream. Maybe she tunes in, maybe she doesn't. Hey, she's been loyal. She has served me, and it's been amazing. I really appreciate her. But I think this is so Proverbs 6. It should be my 6th live stream. And I'm wanting to get to where I can do it. I'd like to do it 6 days a week. I know. I'd like to do it 6 days a week. I'm not there yet, technology-wise, because I haven't even gotten to where I can do the reaction bit to the streams, which I am working towards that. This week, I should have it figured out. I've gotten OBS set up. I'm not even on OBS this time, but I should have it to where I can at least do that. The more I get that system down, and the closer I'll get to doing more and more live streams throughout the week. We're gonna inch toward that, and also, excuse me, I want to tell you, I usually do a lot of preparation for these Bible studies throughout the week. Like I study through it, pull stuff for the live stream, and I didn't do that this week, and the reason being, I know I want to get to where I'm doing this more and more days in the week, and there's just no way I can continue to do that amount of work for the Bible study if I wanted to do it more. So I'm going to do the Bible study live with you guys. We're going to dig into it, which I think is going to be even better. I love you guys. I'm sorry. This week is going to be a little bit more hectic than usual, but for me, I feel like everything's everywhere, and I just want to apologize for that. Other than that, let's get into it. Let's get into it. You know what I'm saying? All right. So let's move the Legos out of the way. Listen. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. All right. Who wants to say a quick prayer right quick? You want to say a quick prayer? Whoever is in the chat, we're going to say a quick prayer. Dear God, I ask you to be with me on this live stream. Help me to understand and glean some information from this Bible study that I do with you today. Help it to impact whoever happens to tune in, whoever happens to be watching this after the fact. In Jesus' name, amen, brother. All right. So we're gonna try and do this, okay? Hold on, let me plug my phone in. Because with that, this is going to be one of the messier live streams that you'll ever see from me, and I apologize. But, hey, we're slowly figuring this thing out. Dude, we're even going to have a camera set up this next time. It's going to be sick, dude. All right. So, Proverbs 6. Let's get it. And I am in paperback Bible. You know, because you're just more dignified if you read the paperback. I don't make the rules, dude. There's a special class in heaven for the people that read that. No, I'm playing. Anyways, Verse 1, my son, if you have put up security for your neighbor, if you have shaken hands and pledged for a stranger, you have been trapped by what you said, ensnared by the words of your mouth. So do this, my son, to free yourself. Since you have fallen into your neighbor's hands, go to the point of exhaustion and give your neighbor no rest. Allow no sleep to your eyes, no slumber to your eyelids. Free yourself like a gazelle from the hand of the hunter, like a bird from the snare of the fowler. I want to stop there. That's the end of verse 5. And let's kind of go back. We're waiting for my phone to charge. All right, we're in there. We're in there. Okay? Because on here I have eSword. eSword is the app that I use when I'm studying the Bible. Thank you, Dad. He put me onto it. My dad is a pastor, for those of you that do not know. He's kind of the bee's knees, man. I'm gonna be honest. But anyways, he showed me this app. It's where you can really dissect what these words are meaning and the original the original text. What, Smokey? I got my dog over there. He took my attention. All right. So the phone is on. We're gonna tap in to eSword. Whoever's in the chat, say what's up. Wait, can I say something? Say what up. I said say what up for the people that are watching this after the fact. Anyway. All right, so the app looks like that. It's called eSword though. eSword though is what I would say. It's just eSword. Jesus. All right, let's lock in. Lock in. All right, so I wanted to touch on a little bit this first 5 verses, mainly because if you guys have ever heard of Dave Ramsey, he is like a finance guru, tells you to get out of debt, and he uses this line in verse 5 to show the gazelle intensity. That's what he's always talking about. You need to get out of debt with gazelle intensity. That's what he'd be saying. And that's this verse right here. Proverbs 6, verse 5. Free yourself like a gazelle from the hand of the hunter, like a bird from the snare of the fowler. And it's like, what does that even mean? What are we even talking about? All right, so this is what we're doing, man. We're studying the Bible. There's no right or wrong way. Anything that allows you to dig into the word, to strengthen and sharpen yourself, whether it be by yourself or with others, is the reason of the Bible study. There's no right or wrong way to do it. This is just how I'm doing it right now. And dude, I encourage you to do it as well. Because just reading the surface layer of what's being said can get you somewhere, but it can only get you so far. When you really dig into it, when you really read the Bible, man, some things start opening up. It has for me. It has for me. One more time. It has for me. Okay? Drink some water. H2O. It's phenomenal. Okay. So in the KJV plus version of the eSword, it says, give not sleep to thine eyes. No, that's wrong. It says, deliver thyself as a roe from the hand of the hunter, and as a bird from the hand of the fowler. Roe. What does that mean? That piques my curiosity. So I'm going to tap on. So, and I'll have it to where I can pull it up on my screen to where it'll be a lot easier. Okay. Look, I know the first 100 things that you do of something are going to be terrible, friggin' atrocious. They're going to be shit. Okay. I just want to encourage people out there. The first 100 live streams I do are going to be bad when I look back at them after 1,000, 10,000, you know, But God does not celebrate the ending of things. He celebrates when you begin things. It says that somewhere in the Bible. It literally says God celebrates the beginning of a thing. And that encourages me, man, because I know that I'm doing what's right, and I'm just encouraging myself because whoever else is in chat ain't saying a fucking thing. Anyways, deliver thyself as a roe. Roe. What does roe mean in here? So I'm going to tap on the dots. It's H6643. It says from H6638 in the sense of prominence, splendor. What does prominence mean? Prominence is fame, good coverage, the state of being important or famous. Okay. In the sense of prominence. So the root of what this row word is meaning is a primitive root to amass, that is grow, turgid, to amass. Essentially, what this is saying, just off the surface level of reading it, is free yourself like a gazelle from the hand of the hunter, like a bird from the snare of the fowler. I get the same thing that Dave Ramsey said, and maybe it's because he's put that thought in my mind, but have gazelle intensity, be intense. He uses the previous 4 verses to explain when you go into debt for something, whether it be financially, whether it be emotionally in debt. You can be in debt, not just financially. Which, side note, if you were paying attention from the beginning of the live stream, what, Smokey? I sold my car. I just sold my car. Sold my car for 14,000 bandos. Light work. Just another day. Just another day. Nah. No, I sold my car though because I've got $13,000 of debt. I started 6 months ago with $34,000 of debt, and I've paid off like what 21,000 roughly. And I sold that car so that way I can buy a $5,000 car and pay off math $9,000 worth of debt. So what does that leave me with? I think I did the math wrong. So if I I did the math right. I knew it the whole time. So I can pay off $9,000 worth of debt, and that will leave me $4,000 in the hole. Hey, and that's if I buy a $5,000 car. I might buy a $3,000 car, bro. I don't know. But I've been really following this journey of, man, I don't want to owe anybody nothing. You know what I mean? Number one, because it just makes things easier. It makes it easier to budget. It makes it easier to build wealth. Because like Dave Ramsey says, the number one wealth creating tool that you have is your income. So spend less, you keep more, and if you keep more, you can create more from it, which will preach. All right, let's move on. And I'm sorry, guys. This is going to be like a crazy stream, dude. I don't have much structure to it. I feel like I'm failing. I'm going to be honest. I feel like I failed with this stream, dude. Because this past week, I knew I was going to sell the car. There was a lot of like stuff going on there. I had like a channel identity crisis, a little bit. I wouldn't say a crisis, but just I'm wanting to go a certain direction. Like I wanted to create, like be entertaining and like also like influence change in people, because that's something that really drives me. So I was thinking about that and like, man, how do I do this the right way? And I think I'm going the right direction. So it was worth it. It was worth it. Just I didn't plan like I usually did, but I don't think what I was usually doing would have been sustainable. It's okay, bubbies. I don't think it would have been sustainable if I want to do more than one stream a week, which I do. I love y'all. I like spending time with y'all, and I want to do it. Late but made it. Congrats on selling the car, Reef. Reef, let's go, girl. You ain't late at all. I was late. I was actually 30 minutes late. I've only been live for like 14 minutes, almost 15. And Reef, Since you're so freaking loyal, I'm gonna repeat myself for you. I am working towards doing more streams in the week. We're doing it. We're doing it. I want to get to where 5 or 6 days a week I'm going live. Crazy, I know. Audacious even. Right now, the technology stuff, I'm really struggling to figure that out. I still haven't figured out, or I know how to do it. I just haven't gotten it in place to do the reaction stuff, which is something I really want to do. So once I have that in place, which I mean, my hand to God, I'm going to put everything on the line to get that done this coming week, even though I'm going to be trying to buy another car and stuff. So I got other responsibilities, but that's something I'm going to be working towards. And also this past week, I didn't do as much preparation for this live stream because I realized, man, if I want to do more live streams in the week, I've got to find a more sustainable way to do it to where I can do them like back to back, because I was like spending 2 hours just studying the word for the Bible study, which obviously if I'm trying to edit videos and all that stuff on top of it and do 5 of those a week, so do 2 hours of Bible study every single day, it's just not sustainable if you're working a full-time job and everything else. Just wanted to catch you up, girl, because you're a real one. By the way, Debrief Reef, where does that name come from? Please let me know. Let us know. Anyways. Woo! She said, woo, give yourself some grace. God doesn't need perfect. Love to hear it, though. Progression over perfection. You're right. You're right. I wonder if I can like that. I could pin it. That's lame. I can't like it. Anyways. Verse 6, chapter 6. We're still in Proverbs. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Yo! Calling us out immediately. She said, God doesn't need perfect. Give you some grace. And then I immediately read, go to the ant, you sluggard. Wow, bro. Dang. Really coming after me. Let's read. I want to know what that word means, though. All right. So this is how I study, y'all. This is how I'm studying the word. Verse 6. So I come to my eSword app, and I'll have it to where I'm doing it online. You have to pay separately for the online app of the same app that you have on your phone, which is dumb. But I just ain't doing that right now. Just be blatantly honest with you. Anyways, verse 6. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Thou sluggard. I love when they hit you with the thou, bruh. They hit you with the thou. Like, what are you talking about, bruh? Thou. And then they hit you with the thine. You know what I'm saying? All right. Whoa. Sluggard means to lean idly. That is to be indolent or slack. Be slothful. So pretty much, you lazy sack of shit. You know what I mean? That's pretty much what he's saying here. That's just what the word means. It's not what he's saying here. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest. How long will you lie there, you sluggard? Which, that, for some reason, that's just speaking to me right now. That verse 8, yet it 7 and 8, it has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest. I mean, that's just fire. It's pretty much saying discipline. Like, essentially, everyone knows like what it is you need to do. Like, if you want to get in better shape, like, eat less, move more. You know what I mean? Like, and like, if you want to have more money, like I was saying, spend less, have more money. If you have debt, like, what I'm getting at is everyone knows the foundation, the basics for most things, how to get what they want, how to get where they want, whatever. But it's the discipline of doing that. And really at the foundation of it, it's the getting rid of the old identity that you adopted around not being good at said thing. So getting rid of the identity of being a fat person and adopting the identity and the traits and the actions of someone that's not fat, debrief reef. It rhymes and can be a place for me or others to vent or chat if I ever create content. LOL. Yo, why are you making content? Make content. That is sick, though. I like the name Debrief Reef. Like, it's catchy. And, but that's kind of like, I guess, what I'm doing, which I guess it makes sense why you're loyal. I appreciate you. That's cool. You need to start making content. You made the first step, and I congratulate you. Make some content, girl. All right, let's keep going. Verse 9. How long will you lie there, you sluggard? Yo! This sluggard word, man, that just sounds like so mean to me. Anyways, it says, how long will you lie there, you sluggard? When will you get up from your sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man. And I want to look into this because something that I have really been focusing on is having a rhythm of rest. A rhythm of rest. Because like I said, sometimes you can't just read the Bible. You got to read the Bible. And before Jesus, and before and after sometimes, but right around when God does his biggest miracles, almost every time before he does his biggest ones, it says, and Jesus withdrew. And Jesus withdrew, which is just saying God he took time. He prayed, and he always got up earlier than everybody else. He always rested in God's presence is essentially what it was saying, but he always withdrew. He rested. And when he was done with, when he calmed the wind and the waves, the storm on the water, they woke him up from sleep. He was resting. The first thing that God did with us, the first day that we spent with God, we rested. We rested with God. That's the first thing we did with him. So I've been focusing on a rhythm of rest. That's what the Sabbath is, Now, I'm not saying you can't lift a finger. I'm just saying, or at least what I'm doing, is I'm not doing anything that is work 1 day a week. And that is the start of my week. Everything comes from my rest. I don't work to rest. I work from rest. There's a difference there. And for me, some things that, like this kind of started as a rest for me. And it's kind of slowly turning into work. Not a bad work. Not like miserable work. Like some of us experience that are 9 to 5s. Which I could say stuff about that too. But it's turning into work because I want it to be better. I'm trying to improve it. I'm always thinking about it, this, that, the third. So I'm focusing on having a rhythm of rest. And I want to dig into what it's talking about rest right here, because that feels like when I read it, that it's saying don't rest. And that's just, I know that is sin, nature, mind, coming to that conclusion. I don't think that's really what it's saying here, because I know what Jesus did, right? And it feels like it's saying the opposite. So, and I'm just speaking out loud. Bible study for beginners, and I think that's what I'm honing in on for this segment of the live stream. Bible study for beginners, because I'm a beginner, dude, and I think I speak to beginners. I'm very unedited. Very unedited. I'm not religious. I'm a Christ follower. Bad words do not scare me because bad words don't scare God. Nothing you did or say or do scares God. And I don't want to scare people away because they're a guy and they like guys, or they say bad words, or they killed somebody, or they sell drugs, or they've been an addict, they've lost custody of their kids. Like, I want everyone to feel accepted here, because what did Jesus do? Everyone likes to say that in the church, but no one wants to live it. What did Jesus do? God did not ask you to ask people to transform before he loved them. He always loved them. And from that love, transformation always came from that. That was God's recipe, or Jesus's recipe. He always treated them and spoke to the real them in that person, loved them. And from that, that was the foundation. And from that is all the basis of all transformation that you can see when you read the Gospels. So that's what I'm doing here. But went off on a tangent, my fault. Let's study up on what is this rest it's talking about from verse 9 through 11. Let's get into it. It says, "How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard?" All right, so I'm going to tap on sleep to figure out what that's saying. A primitive root. What she say? She said, "Everyone thinks it's such a controversial topic. Our instructions to love one another is quite simple." Facts. Facts. Primitive root, to lie down for rest. So to lie down. That's what I'm saying right here. To sleep. To lie down. When wilt thou arise? Or when wilt thou arise? I love that word, arise. Primitive root, to rise. Well, so let's just look at the definition of rise. What does that mean? I know we know what it means. At least I do. Move from a lower position to a higher one. Come or go up. Move from a lower position to a higher one. Come or go up. Get up from lying, sitting, or kneeling. Okay, and then it says, "When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep?" So when will you get up? 10. Yet a little sleep. A little. What does little mean in here? Primitive root, properly to pair off. Pair. Not like the fruit pear. Pair as in cut, reduce, trim. Okay. So yet a little sleep, yet trimming sleep, a little slumber. That same word again. Slumber, drowsiness, being tired. A little folding, which is meaning to clasp, just folding hands. To sleep, to lie down again. That's what the sleep's meaning there. Verse 11, so shall thy poverty come as one that traveleth, and thy want as an armed man. Whoa, dude, that KJV be going over my head sometimes. So shall thy poverty come as one that traveleth, and thy want as an armed man. Okay, so what it's saying is poverty will come as one that travels, and your wants will come as one that's an armed man. Is essentially what it's saying. In the version of Bible I've got, it says, "And poverty will come on you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man." Okay, now let's dive into what it's saying. So shall thy poverty. Poverty means to be destitute. Okay. Come. So it's meaning to go or come. Okay, yeah, cool. Traveleth is to walk. Causatively, to carry. And thy want, so what you want, a primitive root, to lack. Ooh! Want means to lack. By implication, to fail. Want, lesson. Ooh! I'm picking boogers live on stream, dude. Is that out of pocket or what, bro? Dog. I can't wait to have the setup. Hopefully, I have it next week because I'm gonna buy it probably tomorrow. Ooh, I'm buying a mount and a microphone, and hopefully it works. Anyways, but I love that. Want here is meaning to lack. Which I can take this out of the context of the verse that we're reading it. Maybe it goes in the context, but I'm just going to speak on this now. We were never meant to want anything. Like, we were never created to want something, to lack something, to feel the feeling of I lack something. Why am I saying that? Well, I say that because we were created in his image and his likeness. So if we were, what is the one thing above all that God is? He is a creator. So if we're created in his image and his likeness, that means by definition, we are creators as well. And creating is more than art. It's more than content. It's creating an energy in the room. It's creating a good memory. It's creating can be a lot of different things, right? Which is cool. So we were never, but one thing a creator never does, a true creator, a creator never feels that it lacks something. It feels that it, and I want to say want, but not in the same context. It doesn't feel that it lacks something. A creator doesn't feel like they lack something. A creator feels that something they want or desire or something more is needed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to find a different word, but my vocab isn't that crazy. But a creator doesn't feel that something is missing. A creator doesn't feel lack. A creator can see what he can add. That I cook. A creator doesn't see what's missing. A creator sees what he can add. What they can add. A creator doesn't see what is missing. A creator sees what can be added. Maybe we're all supposed to look at things from that lens, not from the lens of what is missing, but from the lens of what can I add. I was actually speaking about this to someone at work. They was like, I got into the IBW first time like that. You know what I'm saying? Apparently it's like super crazy to make it in your first time. I didn't know that. But something that has served me very well throughout all of life, especially work, is a servant's heart. Number one, what I mean by that, but more than anything else is to serve me. And the more I do it, the better and better results I get. What I mean by servant's heart is, how can I best serve this moment? How can I best serve this moment? Because if you can figure out how to give people what they want most, you will have everything that you desire and more. And I really believe that. And it's because I'm not choosing to see. There's a different heart posture when you're looking at something as, this is missing, like I feel like this is missing from my life. And how you go after something that's missing is, I don't have that. I'm agreeing with myself. And they like to, this is another way of calling it manifestation, because manifestation is in the Bible. It's just not spoken about in the ways that we speak about it now, because there's nothing new under the sun. It says that in the Bible as well. There's nothing new under the sun. Manifestation is real. But faith without works is dead. It's all faith really is manifestation. Anyways, but there's a different heart posture of how you act when something's missing from my life. Like, oh, I don't have a car, and like maybe I can think of a better example. There's a different heart posture you have when you notice that you don't have something versus like there's no way you can even look at that, like not having something. You don't even think that when I just lost my train of thought. Crazy work, but you get what I was saying. Anyways, let's keep moving, bruh. Hey, it's real life, real Bible study. This is how it works. But that's a gem. There's a gem there. Just because I was digging into that word, what these words meant. Now let's take it back to what I was getting at with verse 9 through 10. He's saying, hey, just a little bit of sleep. He's not saying that rest is bad. He's saying that someone excuse me. He's not saying that rest is bad. He's saying that falling in love with the rest, doing it more and more, that being your sole focus is not good, because faith without works is dead. At the end of the day, we have like free will, like you can ask for something all you want, but if you don't put the work in to go get it, if you don't do the natural, he can't give you the super to make it supernatural. Fire bar, clip it. What my girl say? She said, yes, one comes from a nature of ungratefulness. The other comes from excitement of God's ability to transform. She said, yes, one comes from a nature of ungratefulness. The other comes from excitement of God's ability to transform. Oh my gosh. She said, yes, one comes from a nature of ungratefulness, from a nature of being ungrateful. The other comes from excitement of God's ability to transform. And not just God's ability, but our ability. It's co-creation. We co-create our life. We co-create with God. That's fire. That's fire. That's a bar. Let's keep going. Verse 12. A troublemaker and a villain, who goes about with a corrupt mouth, who winks maliciously with his eye, signals with his feet, and motions with his finger. That's a visual picture right there. A troublemaker and a villain, who goes about with a corrupt mouth, who winks maliciously with the eye, signals with his feet, and motions with his finger, who plots evil. And I'm just going to dig into that right there. This is just how I get. Because it's like, why? What I'm thinking right now, why I'm digging into that, let me tell you, is why did they feel, why was it so important to say all that? Like, why is it so important for you to say the corrupt mouth, the eye, the feet, the finger? And then the top of verse 14 says, who plots evil with deceit in his heart. Like, we're talking about the whole body here. And I just kind of want to, I'll be quick with this one, but I just kind of want to look and see, like, why? Why did you say it like that? Verse 13. He winketh and with his eyes. All right. Winketh is to pinch. That is to bite the lips, blink the eyes, or fully squeeze off. So he winks with his eyes. Eyes. Shoot. Sorry, I accidentally went back to the last chapter. Eyes. Okay, here we go. Probably a primitive word. An eye, literally or figuratively. By analogy, a fountain. Oh, there's that eye again, bro. He speaketh. A primitive root to speak. Okay, all right. With his feet. Ooh, he speaketh with his feet. Is that how it says it right there? Signals with his feet. Okay. You see how we're getting into something a little bit different? This is what happens when you dig in. This is why we need to study the Bible, not just read it. You can get gems from reading it, but when you study the Bible, man, more and more and more and more is revealed. Who winks maliciously with his eye. Okay. Maliciously, though. You feel me? Signals with his feet. Here it's saying he speaketh with his feet. So, and it literally speaketh means to speak, right? Speaketh with his feet. What does that mean? Just think about that. What does that mean to speak with your feet? I feel like it's saying, what are feet? What do feet do? Feet make you travel in a direction. Feet are what you use to go a certain place. Feet is the foundation of the action of movement forward for most people. You might be in a wheelchair, but if you argue it one way, the wheels on that wheelchair can arguably be your feet. Okay, you get what I'm saying? The feet are the foundation of forward movement in whatever direction. That is your action. You speak with your actions. It's kind of like actions are louder than words. Kind of what I'm getting there. And motions with his fingers. 13, he said, he teacheth with his fingers. Teaches, what does that mean? Properly to flow as water. Flow as water. Transitive. Woo! This word right here. We're going to try and say it. It's transitively. Transitively. Whoa. What does this mean? Able to take a direct object, a relation such that if it applies between successive members of a sequence transitively. I don't know. I'm going to have to look at that even deeper, dude. What are we talking about it? It's a grammar of a verb or sense or use of a verb. Able to take a direct object, saw, and he saw the donkey, the opposite of intransitive. Oh, so it's not intrinsic, it's transient. Okay. To flow as water, that is to rain, or throw, figuratively to point out. Okay. Teaches with his fingers. So he points out. He doesn't look inward, he always looks outward. That's kind of what I'm getting there. All right. Now we know. Let's keep moving. Verse 14. Shut your mouth. Who plots evil with deceit in his heart, he always stirs up conflict. Therefore, disaster will overtake him in an instant. He will suddenly be destroyed without remedy. There are 6 things the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to him: haughty eyes, a lying tongue. All right, so there are 6 things the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to him. Let's count them out: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush into evil, a false witness who pours out lies, and a person who stirs up conflict in the community. Okay, I want to see what the word hates means here. What about you? I'm interested. That is verse 16. 6 thing. These 6 things doth the Lord hate. Whew. KJV, man. Make my head hurt for real. Primitive root to hate, personally. Enemy, foe. So it's an enemy. These things are the enemy to the Lord. The opposite. The op. These are the ops of God. Opposite. That's really all op means. Opposition really is what it means. Anyways, haughty eyes. Let's read it in the KJV. A proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, and heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift and running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. I don't even have to look more into that because that was way more informative than this version of the Bible, which is the NIV version. Let's move forward. Verse 20. My son, keep your father's commands and do not forsake your mother's teaching. They say that all the time in Proverbs. Bind them always on your heart. Fasten them around your neck. They say that all the time in Proverbs. When you walk, they will guide you. When you sleep, they will watch over you. When you awake, they will speak to you. For this command is a lamp. This teaching is a light. And correction and instruction are the way to life, keeping you from your neighbor's wife, from the smooth talk of a wayward woman. Fire, brother. Fire. It's reiterated that and almost, and I haven't counted, but I would say every single chapter we've read in Proverbs so far, it is reiterated every single verse that we just read, 20 to 24. That, hey, man, listen to this, dig into this, because if you do, life will be better. Things will be easier. It's pretty much what it's saying here, bro. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying, bro? Verse 25. Do not lust in your heart after her beauty, or let her captivate you with her eyes. For a prostitute can be had for a loaf of bread, but another man's wife preys on your very life. I kind of want to look into another man's wife. Are we really talking about a prostitute right now? Are we? For by means of a whorish woman, for by means of a whorish woman, to commit adultery, okay? Woman, yeah. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. I tried to keep it in. It's been a long day. You can see the bags in my eyes, man. A man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. Yes, that is what we're talking about. Can a man scoop fire into his lap without his clothes being burned? Can a man walk on hot coals without his feet being scorched? So is he who sleeps with another man's wife. No one who touches her will go unpunished. I mean, that's just wisdom, man. I mean, you can also kind of see that as, hey, if you touch another man's property, not saying like, I mean, just for lack of a better word, I'm not saying the woman's his property. But hey, if you touch another man's things versus touching something that's not someone's, your repercussions are going to be more severe. Verse 30. People do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his hunger when he is starving. Literally what I just said. Yet if he is caught, he must pay sevenfold, though it costs him all the wealth of his house. But a man who commits adultery has no sense. Whoever does so destroys himself. Blows and disgrace are his lot, and his shame will never be wiped away. For jealousy arouses a husband's fury, and he will show no mercy when he takes revenge. He will not accept any compensation. He will refuse a bribe, however great it is. Dang. I mean, just from the surface level, which I'm gonna be honest, it's been a really long day. I think that's gonna be enough for the Bible study portion of it, just because your boys' heads kind of starting to hurt. We're gonna get into the Lego building portion of it, but dude, I feel like that was decent for doing it a little bit different. Brief, you can let me know, but girl, we're trying to figure it out to where I can do this more and more. I can't study throughout the week an entire week one chapter and then come to every single live stream like that if I do more than one a week. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to figure out a better way of doing it. I didn't prepare like I usually did. At least this routine I was in for the last 5 live streams I did. So I'm trying to find a groove with it to where I can do this more and more. Because I do think, hey, the Bible study is going to stay. And I do think the Lego building, the Lego in chat, Lego in chat's just solid. I don't know. That's just the name I keep coming back to. But I do like that portion. I think it's pretty neat and nifty. Don't really see anybody doing it. It's kind of like that girl that I think her name's Bailey something, but she does like the makeup, and she talks about like some murder mystery or ghost thing, and she does makeup while she's doing it. It's kind of like my version of doing that. Like I'm building a Lego set and I'm talking about like some self-improvement topic, I'm kind of doing that essentially. And I think it's neat, and I like building Legos, and I like talking about self-improvement topics, and I think it's a good idea. But dude, we're getting better. We're getting better. Setup's getting better. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have a tripod thing. It's a DJI Osmo Mobile 8, and it's gonna like hold my phone, and it's gonna have a light on it, and I'm gonna have like a little clip-on microphone, so like it should really up the quality of the stream, which I'm excited about. And hopefully also next week. That's if that makes it to the house by then. But also next week I should have it to where OBS Studio is where I'm going live from, so that way I can do the reaction videos and everything. I probably could have done it this week, but I know some people watch the YouTube vertical live stream versus like the horizontal live stream. You know what I'm saying? Which, I don't know. Whatever. And I'm trying to figure out how do I react to a horizontal video in vertical and have it to where people can see that whole horizontal video, so it's just stuff like that. Like, I just don't know how to do it, trying to figure it out while being a dad, working full time and all that stuff. So it's taken longer than I would like. But once I get this stuff in a groove, the technical stuff, and then I get a system I need to have a little bit of preparation, at least for this portion of the video, like the Lego and chat portion, because I'm going to be talking about something. The Bible study, I think I can do what I did just right there, and that'll get better, especially when I can have it showing up on the screen and stuff. And then the reaction videos, I mean, it's just reacting to videos. I mean, it's kind of a riff. So I'm just, once I can figure out a system for that, dude, we're gonna be locked in, and I'm wanting to do it every, like, dude, I just like doing it. I've been enjoying doing it. I've grown from it to be. Look at that. I love that. To be honest. All right. So I have the power. What's that from? Masters of the Universe. I learned a massive. I gleaned a very cool insight when I watched that movie with my son this past week. I took my 4-year-old to see his very first movie in the theaters. He did great. I mean, he does everything fantastically. But he really liked it. He totally got it, I thought it was a pretty good movie, honestly. But there's a scene in that where He-Man, but before I get in the weeds here, let me pull up I got to pull up the Lego instructions. There's a scene in He-Man, though, at the end of it. Well, if you ever watched He-Man, He-Man's been out for like half a century. So like spoilers, but like, come on, continue building. Yes. How about you let me build? That'd be cool. Thank you. Yo. All right. I think All right, yeah, we're good. All right, bet. So there's a scene in it at the end of that movie almost where He-Man's sword breaks. His sword breaks, man. And you're like, oh, it's the moment all hope is lost. And you're frustrated. You're frustrated. Because it's like, what the actual F? I thought I was going to win. I thought He-Man was going to win. I thought he was going to beat Skeletor, dude. And he's sitting there. He's like he's going through all these visions and everything. And then the sorceress comes to him. And the sorceress is like the person that like kept the sword safe for a really long time. And he's talking to her because she's like, get up. And he's like, how am I still alive or whatever? And she's like, they're just talking back and forth. And he's like, the sword's broken. I don't have the power anymore. And she's like, what do you say when you hold that sword up? And he's like, by the power of Grayskull, I have the power. And she said, there, right there. The sword never had the power. You did. She's like, I chose you. I chose you to have the power. I chose you to, and then it's all sentimental because, like, why did you choose me? All this stuff. But it really spoke to me because I feel like that's how God is with us. You know, a lot of the time, dude, I'll be sitting there in my life, and I'm saying exactly what he said to. Oh, excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. I'm saying what he's saying to freaking God. Really? I'm like, dude, all hope is lost. Feel like you chose the wrong person. You know, whatever it may be. And damn, I cannot get this Lego on. I can't wait to have a better camera angle so like you guys aren't just watching my face, but like watching me build this as well. How is this not going on properly? I did it. But I've literally had that conversation inside my mind, and sometimes to God, like, well, I don't have the power anymore. I failed at whatever thing. For me, it took me forever to start doing this live stream because I am someone that has tried a lot of different things. I'm 24 years old and I've had businesses fail. I've started businesses and just not followed through with them. I've failed at a lot of different things, and there's great things in that. But sometimes, let's be real, it's hard to even see that shit. It's hard to see that shit. It's like, dude, I know I fucked up, you know, and I'm a fucking failure. Like I am, you know, not that I failed at this thing, but dude, I am a failure. I've been there, and just hearing those words, and He-Man of all places, I have the power. You've had the power this whole time. And I just felt like God was saying that to me in that moment. I felt like he was saying, look, you've had it all the time. You've had it this whole time. You've always been this person I've created you to be. And I encourage you guys to envision that yourself. Like God's saying that to you because he is. You've always been the person that he created you to be. You've always been that person. Now, have you acted out of character? Yeah. Have you not always acted true to your identity and acted as someone else in a false identity? Yeah. But you've always been the person that he created you to be. And when I heard that, and honestly just got to the point of I understood it, like, holy shit, I have the power, And He-Man, even like when he come out of the vision, he pulled the sword out of him, and it was all broke, and then it like grew back and everything because he had the power. It was never the sword. It was never the sword. It was never the money that made you, for example. It was never the you got lucky. It was never any of that. It was always you. It's always been you. You have always been the reason. You have always been the the magic. The magic has always been you. It's always been inside you. And I just think we lose sight of that. I think I can speak from experience. I lose sight of that all the time. I lose sight of that I don't have to be fucking perfect. I can fail, and that's part of it. It's part of it to fail. Update. You can see the colors really starting to come together. I think this is the front that we're building. But God, you get what I'm saying? Like, we've literally always... What's my girl saying? She said, things can fail, but we are the one thing that always remains. Love that reminder. We are the one things that always remains. Exactly. So often it is easy for us to accept failure as our identity when it is just a thing that happens. It's just a thing that happens. It's not us. The failure isn't us, And whenever we win, it feels like an extraordinary event that we were lucky to achieve. And really, both of those feelings are wrong. We should always have that sense and that feeling of what we feel when we win, and not just when we actually win. We should always feel like that about ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We've that's how God feels about us. When we fail, like, what's something that you struggle with? What's something that you struggle with? I'll give an example. Something that I struggle with, and I'm just gonna be hot, open, or humble, open, and transparent. HOT, hot, humble, open, and transparent. That's what this place is. And something I really truly struggle with is lust. Have for a very long time, and I think I know a lot of men do. And if you want the truth, that's a big reason of why I want to do the live stream so much, because it gives me a healthy outlet. Because really, lust is just a counterfeit comfort for intimacy, especially when you pervert it with like pornography and stuff. So that's something I really struggle with. I honestly cannot remember where I was going with that at all. Can't remember where I was going with that at all. I feel like it was going to be good, though. All right, I got to build one more of these. Where's another one at? Boom, boom. I believe that we're building... I don't know. What part is this, chat? That's what we just built. All right, now we're throwing these on there. Man, what was I saying? How even when we fail, God still sees us as winners. Is that the last topic? Yeah, I think that's where I was going. How even when we fail, God still sees us as winners. Where was I going? Why was I talking about lust? How even when we fail, God still sees us as winners. Oh, yeah. Okay, so something thank you. Something I've struggled with a lot is the lust and the pornography and all that stuff. Like my entire life, I've struggled with that, or as long as I can remember, like single digits. Just being exposed to that, and that comes from like a lack of intimacy, and that's been a root of a lot of problems for me. Something we struggle with. We, um, and honestly, like I've I've battled that a lot, and it's felt like a part of me, especially because it's been with me for so long. It's felt like that's just who I am, and I think it's easy for us to fall into that. Like, well, it's just who I am. Well, I'm just someone that gets angry. I'm just someone that bad things happen to. Like I hear that a lot. Like for whatever different thing, uh, for that person. Like they're always like, "Well, I'm just that's just who I am." But why? Why do you even put that label on yourself for something that's like that? You know, why do we do that? Um, because we have to find our identity in something, but we don't. Our identity was never that, and think we. I just really got that lesson when He Man was like, "I have the power," and I just had all this come to my mind, like, "Oh wow!" Like his identity really solidified in that moment, and from that was his power. Like he realized I have the power, but him realizing I have the power, like that was massive. You know what I'm saying? I think I struggle with worth and shame, feeling like I have to be perfect to be loved or worthy enough. Feeling like I have to be perfect to be loved or worthy enough. I relate a crap ton to that. Same Z's for real. Honestly. Um and I know for me it it comes from like a traumatic childhood really. Um and I think it's good to like I mean, I've been going to therapy, dude. It's like really, 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 really helped me. Um but there's something from a movie that I seen. I think it's called Split. Uh but there's this girl. I mean, I hope you guys know the freaking plot of the movie Split. It was like a massive movie, massive blockbuster hit. But there's a scene in it when he's chasing after a girl and he's about to kill her, and he sees that she's got scars and everything all over, and he says, "The broken are the more evolved," and he quits chasing after her. He lets her go. He lets her be free. I love that movie. Phenomenal movie. One of the best acting performances um, in recent cinematic history, for real. Phenomenal. That dude, can't remember his name. Um, but that line stuck with me still to this day. The broken are the more evolved, or something like that, something along those lines. Um, And that is such a powerful line if you really pay attention to that. Like, what does that mean? The broken are the more evolved. Like, and he was saying it like like it was beautiful. And that's because it is. And it's like a lot of people are like, well, if God's real, why does he allow suffering? And that's why. That's why, dude. Like, if life was just nothing but good, how would you even know it was good? And I think there's a lot of joy in the suffering. There's a lot of joy in that. And what am I even getting at right now? I'm attaching that to like the traumatic past and everything. But what I was getting at is like we can either choose to see that as, oh man, like I had a fucking shitty childhood, and I fell victim to that for a really long time, dude. I can't find this piece. Um, Or we can choose to look at it like how I've started to, and it's like, man, I'm better able to serve people like you and I, Reef. Like we're better able and better, more capable of serving people in this life. Like we can help people and speak to people and cut below the surface and cut to the heart of, in people that other people can't touch. And I'm not saying that God chose for that to happen to us, but God brings good and light out of everything. And that's the light that I'm choosing to see out of it. Bro, I've got to find this piece. I've got to lock in. Give me a second. It's like a friggin'. Oh, here we go. Here's one. It's like the moment I stop talking, I find it. Pain and heartbreak reminds us we're alive. I'd rather ache than feel nothing at all and become numb. Yes, it's an honor to be able to sit in the rut with others, know how they feel, and be able to support them. I completely agree with you. I think that's like one of my like that's my mission statement. Like I struggled a long time like figuring out, man, what's my purpose? Like what am I meant to do? And I ended up reading this book. Like Ken Coleman is the author. Get Clear Career Assessment is like the book, and it comes with like an assessment to find out like your skills, this, that, the third, like what you're good at, what drives you, like what's your mission, and that's part of this channel, influencing change in people. And for me, it's influencing positive change. And last stream, if you remember, I did speak about how to figure out. Maybe it was a stream before that, but I was like, how do I figure out what my purpose is? And the easy way to do it is whatever um, people say you're like bad for, you can usually say like that's your purpose. And for me, I was always the ringleader. I was always the class clown, the people cutting up. I was always the source of attention. People always like followed me, and we would always get into fucking trouble. You know what I mean? And because you can't help but use your purpose. You can't help but be who God created you to be, but you can pervert it and do it the opposite way. Go for the wrong team. You feel me? Um, and that was mine, dude. All right, it's saying okay. The reason the Lego app is so goated is for this reason right here. You can like if you're you can see exactly because sometimes the angle that it started on, and especially on the book, it's like, all right, which two am I supposed to put this on? You know, that's what I was battling here. But then I can just twirl it and look up from up top, and it's like, oh, it's the last two. Bro, like when I've built Lego sets and it's just been the book, it's honestly like sometimes that is like not as self-explanatory as you would think. And there I go. I took us way off topic, but that's part of it. That's fire though, dude. That's a fire little sentiment that we just come across. And that's why I like these Lego chats because it's like part of it, which I didn't script that or have an outline for this, like literally at all this week, which I usually do. And I'm just like feeling like this one's not very good, this live stream, but it's okay. It'll get better. I do think that there's something to like the back and forth, the things that come from it, the gems that you pull out of me, really, and you know. I like the conversation, and that's why I like doing live streams. It's a community, you know, and I'm excited to have more and more people come in here, and more regulars show up, and stuff like that. Which once I get the technical stuff in, because I haven't been making clips or anything. So when I start making clips, and I might even go live on multiple platforms at once, and all this stuff. When traffic starts coming in, let's just be prepared because hate's going to come in too. You're not doing it big enough if there isn't hate. That's just the truth, man. That's just the truth. That's the way of the world. But I'm excited. Like, I'm excited for where this is going. I think we've got a good thing that we're building here. A good community, um, good good foundation, like a good mission, and I'm just excited, dude. I look forward to these streams like literally every week, all week. I look forward to like talking with you guys and growing with you guys, and I'm just excited to see where it goes, and I'm excited to see people change and see people grow and see people become who they want to be and figure out more about themselves and share that information with other people, and it's all that stuff. I'm excited for it. So, um, yeah, just thought I'd share that with you. All right, we got to build the other side. This is where we're at. So we built this and then this. I'm sure we're going to combine the two and then put it onto this, which hopefully when I get the camera, you guys can kind of watch me as I'm building. That's the goal, at least. Which I don't even really know if I've got much more to say about the I have the power. I feel like I'm kind of at the tail end of that, which might mean we're coming to the end of the stream. I don't know. We'll keep it going for a little bit longer. See if anything else comes to mind. But I promise you, Reef, we're going to have more technical stuff figured out this coming week. And I'm going to have a good system because going into July, I want to start streaming more throughout the week. Like, I'm going to slowly, incrementally, like, one more day. All right, consistent with that, 2 days a week. Now I'm going to get consistent with 3 days, and so on and so forth. I'm going to slowly phase into it because it is a workload to it. Like, I didn't think it was as much work as what it was. And then when you value something, you want it to be as good as it can possibly be. So naturally, you end up putting more effort and stuff into it. Well, Reef, I was wondering, like, what's some stuff that you would like to see? And you said, haha, excited to see what you come up with. It'll come along. I know it will. I'm wanting to react to like just all sorts of stuff because I like I did the He-Man movie. Like, I am all the time like that's just where my mind's always going. It's like always because that's what I feed my spirit is like self-improvement stuff and podcasts and sermons, and I'm studying the Bible, and I'm just always talking about and thinking about stuff like that. So I naturally pull gems and stuff out of He-Man. You know what I mean? So I think I can react to everything, and that's going to be kind of the filter. And obviously it'll be funny and stuff sometimes. And I don't know, who knows where it goes. I'm just kind of taking your advice, making content that I enjoy. And I'm finding the content that my audience enjoys and I also enjoy, and I'm doubling down on that, which seems to be what I've been doing. And yeah, so Reef, before we get off here, is there anything that like you would like to see me specifically do? Like, it can be completely off the wall, something I haven't even spoke about. Like, what would you like for me to do? You know, you're the first like real person in the community, girl. The Reef. That's a fire name, dude. We're putting a sticker on. Yo. We're gonna put this is the license plate. This is the bumper that we've been making. She said, I don't know. It seems you're being yourself, which I think is great and refreshing. I love the Bible studies and discussing how we interpret them. Let me think what else. Okay. Yeah, I think honestly, like personally, why I'm starting to do the live streams is I think that, um, especially with AI, uh, AI can't really do live streams. I mean, there will be, and it's coming soon, like AI influencers and everything, but they can't be authentic. You get what I'm saying? Like they can't. I'd like to see this. I'd like to see AI fuck up putting this sticker on. You know what I'm saying? Um, but seriously, so I think there's going to be a massive market for live stream content, and I know there's going to be a massive market for authenticity. Because if you pay attention, at least to the content I'm consuming, it's more and more authentic. It's less editing. It's less scripts. It's just people being real. Like where people are wanting the authenticity, and we're in a socialist world, and we're in a social media world and have a social epidemic. Like there's no one, you know what I mean? Like no one's really hanging out. So with both of those things being said, um, that's kind of why. Oh, I put these on wrong. Hold on. There, go on it. Yeah, go on it. Okay, here we go. Flip these around. I wanted to put this. I wanted this to be the friggin' what's it called? Crescendo. It's from He-Man too. Look. Tell me that's not tough, dude. That's the bumper. See the friggin' muffler there? And we're gonna put that on, I assume. And you hear the app, it's like, good job, man. Good job. Just making me feel like I'm doing all the things right. And it snaps into the back of it. Clean! That's where we're gonna leave it. All right. Reef said, still big fan of the Legos too. LOL. Maybe you and community could come up with a weekly challenge at the end of your streams. Could be a way to connect with audience, especially as you grow. I like anything self improvement based, faith based, and mental health based. LOL. Which you're checking all the boxes. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's kind of like my thing too. I guess I'll kind of go a little bit out there when I'm reacting to freaking like Jurassic Age Ocean and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think there's going to be an entertainment thing to it because I don't want it to just be like, which I have been entertaining, just because I think that's my personality, kind of a unique person. But I think I'll glean some self improvement, some gems from just watching anything really. To speak on the other thing though, Reef, I didn't know if I should start doing it now, just where I don't really have very many community members. Um, I would like to have, like, I eventually want to create like a community where we're like all like kind of like a Discord. I'm thinking about doing it like on school, just making like a free community to where we can talk throughout the week and stuff and like chat. You guys can even give me things that you want me to react to. Maybe we start like a book club. Maybe I do like a book thing on the live streams, or maybe that's like just in the community to where it's separate from the live streams. But I do want to have like maybe a Q&A portion, um, or something like that. But I just didn't really think I had the audience to really do that yet. But maybe I'm wrong. She said, yeah, definitely make it yours. Anything you're interested in, go for it. All right, girl. All right. I really appreciate you for real. I appreciate you so much. I will be here again Monday, 7 p.m. Uh, sorry I was a little bit late this time. I appreciate you. Love you. Got all the love for you in the world. And we're going to keep growing this thing. Dude, it's impossible to fail something if you just keep getting up and keep moving forward. And I'm gonna keep moving forward with this. I ain't gonna give up. So you was first to the show, girl, you know? And I promise you, everything I love and own on my son's life, I will remember you. I will remember you. And I will do like I will always be talking to Reef. And you'll be my first moderator, whatever, when I get there. Like you've held me down. Just know I will hold you down. Love you, for real. But until next time. I love you.